good one. Oh no, a little bit of the topic that I'm going to be talking about today is mainly regarding like the struggles and like some of the segmentation that is very true for the RGE, but like I feel in the scope of like other metropolitan areas, we're a very still developing queer community. Like yes, historically we've been here around for so long, but compared to like Austin and like Houston, Dallas, like we're still not at the same level as like unity or representation or just public outness. I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of those things. I know one, especially for me, one of the big contributing factors in like why I came out so late in life, and I think it's a big driver of why we're so segmented and divided is the strong like border region, the Hispanic culture that's very much centered around machismo, and the patriarchy and stuff like that. You know, it's growing up with any kind of hint or inclination of being gay or queer or whatever, instantly, you really feel right away about like the people you trust most, family, stuff like that. You're like, this is a little poquito, They'll tell it to you, people that are supposed to love you, in a form that seems endearing, but in reality it's a very derogatory term that like you're getting from the people that you most love. So you grow up with that kind of thing, and it's that internal struggle of like struggling with, who we are as queer people and like the region that we all very much love. Like, yes, a lot of people have left, but we come back because we really love it. So it's the struggle between those two. Jumping further into like what really divides us, I think in the queer community we really struggle, or not struggle, but we really try to, we find strength in like our specific identities, to where sometimes it starts to drive silos within the community. So, people that are very much just about drag or in the drag scene, that's the only people they interact with. They don't interact with like, other people or people that are more, family oriented in the queer community and stuff like that. And I feel focusing just on and we find strength in those identities, but it's one of those big contributing factors that I feel like really divides us. And amongst that, as a community organizer myself, and I'm sure all of y'all can speak to this too, I feel like a lot of the times we find ourselves often competing for spaces. There's only so much safe spaces here in the Valley. And shout out to Bar B to being like one of the only gay bars. They can only be open so many days during the week for only so many hours. If they could be open 24/7, I'm sure it would work. But like, we're all competing for the same. It feels like 24 hours. We're all competing for the same nights, for the same days of the week, to where like, it becomes very difficult in like, hey, as an organizer, I want to do something, but I don't want to step on, the drag queens night and do something over their event. Or if the Chicas are doing an event here at Barbie, like, I don't want to feel like I'm encroaching on their spaces. So I think, no, honestly, yes, and that's something I've started to do kind of over this last year that I found like has really been working and helping to unify the community. Is like, it's not about wanting to like step over other organizations' toes. It's, work on, instead of, finding a space that's just yours or whatever, build bridges across the organizations. There's no reason why, we can't co-collaborate on events, do things together, create things that are a little more low stakes, like speaking to somebody, with like the leather group and the bears that I represent, like something that's a little more low stakes that anyone feels perfectly comfortable to show up in. That way we can kind of share those spaces together. And it also kind of helps with the burnout. I don't know about y'all, but like it helps to be able to collaborate with other people from organizations, then it's not just so much on any one of us. And that's really kind of like what I want to really push for into the coming year, especially 2026 being a critical election year. It's like leaning on each other to really build those spaces, build those networks, so we can have those conversations and really like start to unify the RG.
Thank you.